Emotions have never been my strong point. Pretty good at hiding stuff. In the last 2 years, like I'm literally drinking every day.
I didn't realize there was so much shit that I haven't dealt with.
How bad could it get if you don't change this approach?
Very bad, and I don't want to go there.
Right now, you have some choices.
Oh my gosh, it's one of those moments.
Everything is shaking from the inside out.
This is the moment.
I don't know how you just did that.
The story that you're telling yourself is a lie.
Do you think I could take a break? There's no ways I'm not going to drink this weekend. It's just one weekend where I still get to feel free.
Nicole, you are anything but free right now.
I know.
You are absolutely trapped by a toxic behavior that's going to destroy your life.
Currently, I live with my parents in their home. I'm 42 years old, so that's fun. My mom's very sick. She has 24/7 care. My dad's great, and then I live with my my little boy. He's 3. So the day is literally about everyone else and what they need, rather than me being able to focus on my things. I don't really leave the house much. I have quite a bit of anxiety, so I struggle to even leave the house. When I do get time for myself, it's normally personal development, growth. I love that whole industry, so I watch a lot of personal growth stuff. Then I paint, which also am struggling creatively, a little bit blocked, but yeah, it's sort of the day is running after everyone else. I have to be there because Rogan's dad is not around, so I'm single momming, but I don't make a lot of money, so I need to live there in order for Rogan to have a good life. If I could just support my son on my own, that would be phenomenal.
It's D-Day. I'm packed. And I'm off to the airport in a few hours. This is it. Getting on the plane. Ready for boarding.
Nicole has flown to London to go on an intensive 3-week therapeutic journey. What follows is an abridged but authentic account of that journey. This is a story about the lies we tell ourselves and the price we pay for that in the long term. But it's also a story about hope and how to unlock our true strength in life.
This story starts with the loss of my twins in 2019. I had a stillborn and an NICU baby. She survived 2.5 days. I would like to be in therapy to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I don't want the story of my twins to be a waste. I want to create a legacy. And I've really been trying for the last 4 years, and I could really use some help.
Yeah, because I'm going to say something sort of make it sound very oversimplistic, and obviously there's much more pieces to this jigsaw. But when someone has a significantly traumatic event that happens in adulthood, how we respond to that event is already almost predetermined in a sense.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to go back further. How are you with your emotions in your sort of 20s, 30s?
Emotions have never been my strong point. Pretty good at hiding stuff when I was younger.
What was your relationship like with your mum and with your dad, and what did they teach you around feelings and emotions?
So my dad was away probably 6 months of the year, like on and off with work.
Okay.
So he wasn't really around, and mom. My mom was really sweet. She's a really, really kind person. I do see my mom as not having much of a backbone, as in not standing up for herself. That's how I remember things. Yeah.
What did that teach you about being a girl and then about being a woman?
So I've always done the opposite. Like if I didn't want something or whatever, I would say so. Or if I wanted something, I would say so.
Yeah, so you learned to have very strong and clear boundaries.
Yeah.
What did you learn about being emotionally vulnerable?
No.
Because you didn't want to be like your mum.
Yeah.
What happens as you talk about it?
I don't know. It feels like I thought I was vulnerable, but I guess I'm not.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
I suppose for me, I've always been the strong one. For friends, for everyone. So yes, yeah, no, this is very uncomfortable and weird and don't want to go there.
Yeah. Which unfortunately means it's probably where we need to go a bit further.
Oh.
Talk to me about, I can see it feels quite uncomfortable talking about it. I just want to give that some space. Like what's happening is it feels like there's some places that are kind of, trying to protect, which is what they've learned to do. And it's right. They want to protect you, but I'm sort of curious to what that felt sense is.
It's like I've got physical pain just sitting here right now. So there's obviously something going on.
What describe the physical pain to me?
Ow.
So you're pointing to your heart? Like is it in your heart area?
Right in here.
Yeah. How are you relating to that physical pain? Is it allowed? Are you rejecting it? Are you like,
no, it must go away.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting alive example of what we're talking about, right? Like there's some feeling that's coming up and then there's a pushing away of that. Because what would it mean if you let that pain be there?
Die?
So there's a deeply held fear that if you really let go, that you would die. And I don't mean that. I buy it. Like I understand that fear. I don't buy the belief, but I buy the fact that it feels like that.
Yeah.
I know what you're describing. It's like you learned that you survived by holding on, right? That was the survival strategy that you learned. So therefore the default is if you're not holding on, you won't survive. The problem is that we then jump forward a few decades and then you find yourself in a situation where what that's actually meant is your system's gone into freeze, right? And that's the constant nervous system dysregulation and anxiety and all that you've been struggling with is because there's a holding on. Yeah. Describe what's happening a bit more.
No, I don't know. It's like physically everything is shaking from the inside out.
Do you understand what that shaking is?
Not right now, no.
Yeah. So what that shaking probably is when we go into a freeze response, when we have an overwhelming trauma and we shut down in our system, there is a whole load of energy that didn't get a chance to be discharged. You know, it's kind of like you think about an animal in nature that's being physically threatened, and it's got two things it could do. One is it can fight the predator, or it can flight and run away. Whichever it does is going to take an enormous amount of energy for it to be able to do that. If it doesn't do either of those things and it freezes, all of that energy becomes contained and trapped inside of the body. So the shaking is your body's way of discharging some of that energy. But because of what you learn as a girl, you've labeled the shaking as falling apart. And if you let go and fall apart, you're going to die. And so you're now stuck in whichever way you go is, I'm either going to feel this stuff and I'm going to fall apart and I'm going to die, or I've got to live in this constant state of fear and anxiety and shaking. What I hope you're going to discover in the time that we've got together is that there is a third way. That there is a way to process the trauma that's held in your body, which doesn't result in dying, but actually allows you to release and to move through it.
Yesterday I had my first session with Alex, and this morning I feel like I've been hit by a freight train. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize there was so much pain and shit that I haven't dealt with. I really thought I had dealt. So after yesterday, it's a lot of realization. And it might sound stupid, but whatevs. I just want inner peace. That's it.
To get Nicole more in touch with her emotions, I asked her to start meditating and gave her some guidance on how best to do this. Meditation can be a great way of building inner safety to get closer to our emotions. However, I soon discover there's more going on behind the scenes.
So I said I was meditating. It was, but not really. I had really like resistance around it. So I've always thought like meditation, yoga, all those things are like shit because my mom did them. So she, at one point, she was a yoga teacher. And
Oh, right.
yeah, she's very spiritual, into her Buddhism and all those things. So it was never like a go for me. And I tried like yoga and stuff like that, but it always didn't feel right. And I think through that, I also don't want to do anything that she does because I don't want to be like her.
Yeah.
And one other thing is that I do state changing a lot.
What do you use?
Alcohol mainly. I was a binge drinker way before, like the twins and everything. So it's a bit of a lifetime pattern. And I got it to the point where I don't binge anymore. And I spent 3 months not drinking at all, just to prove to myself that I wasn't an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I did that, but in the last few, like, I don't even know how long, maybe 2 years, like I'm literally drinking every day.
And how much? What quantity?
A glass of wine to a bottle of wine.
And are there ever nights that you don't?
No, but I try.
And what happens when you try?
I get really agitated and irritated, and
so you're
the world is too much.
Yeah, so you're self-medicating your anxiety. And you've got yourself a bit of a spot, because if you don't want to do anything like your mum does in terms of meditation and yoga, and then that's the way that you're self-medicating your anxiety, we need to break that pattern, because although alcohol may help calm your system, what it also does is numbs you emotionally. And you are going to pay a very high price for that in the long term.
I already do.
Yeah.
I have internal battles about it every single day. But I just haven't found the strength.
It's becoming clear that Nicole is using alcohol to numb herself emotionally. Without proper intervention, this could have severe consequences. How bad could it get if you don't change this approach?
Very bad. And I don't want to go there.
Well, I think we should go there.
No, I don't want to go there.
Because that's part of the denial, right? If we go there a bit now, we then change the probability of you ultimately going there. Because one of the things about addiction is sustainable because of denial.
Mm-hmm.
So where could this go if you don't change it?
Rogie could get hurt in the process, physically hurt, or like just neglected, and we could end up not having anywhere to stay and all the things.
Yeah. For you, the trauma of losing 2 children where there's nothing you could have done about it, and then losing a child when you could have done something about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how one gets past that trauma.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, that's
No, you don't. You don't.
Right. Right now, you have some choices. And I want to be clear, this is not about just taking away the strategy you've got. This is about your wholehearted commitment to cultivating new strategies, which are going to be more work in the short term, but a lot less destructive and ultimately less work in the long term. Nicole and I go on to discuss why she is so resistant to meditation.
I rather fight it for 3 hours than sit down for 10 minutes.
And we soon unearth what this resistance is protecting her from.
It just hurts. It's pain.
It's pain.
Yeah.
By stopping her from feeling the pain, this resistance is preventing Nicole from truly coming to terms with her grief.
I don't even have words. I don't want to go there. Why would I don't want to go there?
Yeah. It's much easier to have a glass of wine and numb yourself.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, it's one of those moments. Right? So I'm trying to just feel for feeling and not feel for all reasons, and it's my twin. And everyone's been mentioning them, and it's been really hard because oh God, I actually do.
Fuck, man. I lost fucking babies.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. The most painful thing you can imagine happens. See if you can breathe. Bring some air in. Stay there.
See, I want to switch it off.
Yeah, but when you switch it off, you switch part of yourself off. What's happening now?
It's switched off.
Yeah, good. Good that you see that. What your emotions and feelings need is to be given the space. And the instinct here is to stay in control of it, because that's what feels familiar, and that's what allowed you to survive as a kid, that you weren't held, you weren't given your feelings. But as you grow your capacity to hold yourself, that allows you to really go deeper and move through it. in a way, my job is taking people to the places they think they don't want to go, to help them reach the places that they do. Nicole has been self-medicating her emotions with alcohol for years. And that pattern is powerful. I've got to find a way to help Nicole discover that she's even more powerful. But I'm also in a delicate place with her. If I push too hard, she could walk away from this process at any point.
So I think we'll head around this way.
After last session, I challenged Nicole to not drink before our next session. Although reluctant, she tentatively agreed. My producer, Oliver, met up with her in between sessions to see how she was getting on.
In terms of how it's been the last couple of days, I know after the session on Monday, you were quite sort of unsettled, I think is a way we could put it.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the advice from Alex in terms of trialing this not drinking for a couple of days, how has that been so far?
It's been really interesting because I am literally detoxing. It is ridiculous. So I have not had a drink.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
But I also have not slept in 2 days, and I've literally slept every night through no problem. I've got insomnia. I can't sleep. My skin's itchy. I've got zits. Everything's just coming out and it's horrible and I hate it. So it's just proved that there may be a slight problem.
Have you felt that you can feel a bit more emotion-wise from not sort of self-medicating, I guess, for what
I can see the benefits of not drinking.
You've said it now.
I can see, and I know it, like I've had drinking problems for a while in different ways. I am reliant on it. I totally am. And now that I've proven that to myself, then it's inevitable. It will change. Don't put that in the film. I'm kidding. But yeah, let's do it. I want to be happy.
Something that strikes me about Nicole is that I don't think she realizes how strong she really is. She's consigned herself to the idea that she can't do hard things, but she has just proved that to be untrue. For today's session, I've devised a plan to help her realize her true strength. Firstly, I want to give you real acknowledgement for what you've done. It's hard. I get it's hard. I'm curious as to what meaning you're making out of it. Like, you've done something that's hard, but you're also recognizing that effectively you have been a somewhat functional alcoholic. Mm-hmm. What is your current thinking around alcohol in the coming weeks and months?
There's no ways I'm not going to drink this weekend. Because it's my last weekend in London. I'm around friends the weekend. They're all going to be drinking. So I'm really not going to put myself through hell this weekend. I am considering doing the same, like Monday to Thursday next week. And then I want to build a plan for when I'm at home, because there's different ways that people drink at home, especially in my house. So how to navigate and where to push and where it's okay.
I guess the challenge is you're going through withdrawal now. If you drink this weekend, you're going to have to keep going through withdrawal.
That's okay. I gotta be honest. it's been really hard. And
I get
like,
it.
I'm not going to lie to myself. I mean, if I can do it, like by some miracle, I won't drink, but I just don't see it happening. And I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on myself and then just feel guilty.
Here's how I see it. Right now, you're here to make change.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, it's harder because you're away from your day-to-day life and support and so on. In another way, this is it, right? You're here. You've just done 3 days. You've just recognized that you have a problem with alcohol and you are in danger of living your life in a way that causes pain and suffering to your son, which will be very hard for you to reconcile in yourself. And in a way, you know, I take a pretty hard line about things sometimes. What's 1 weekend's of plans for the rest of your life and for your son's mental health and for you being the parent that I know that you want to be?
But other way around, it's just 1 weekend where I still get to feel free.
Nicole, you are anything but free right now.
I know.
You are absolutely trapped by a toxic behavior that's going to destroy your life.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea that you're free is, I'm sorry, it's an absolute nonsense. I can't make you do this differently.
Mm-hmm.
This has to come from you. And if you want to drink this weekend, you go drink. It's your choice to do that. But you got to be aware of the consequences. And you got to be aware of the story that you're telling yourself to justify the behavior, which is a lie.
Okay.
It's just not the truth. I'm on very thin ice with you right now, and I can feel it.
No.
Because the thin ice I'm on is that if I push you too much, there's a place in you that I think you could slightly convince you and me in the moment that you're on board, and a part of you's just going to go, fuck you. And
I'm not going to walk out of here and say I'm not going to drink if I don't believe, like, if I don't feel like I did on whatever day it was.
Yeah, Monday,
Yeah. But I also promise to be open to walking out of here, possibly not drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's fair.
Yeah. So I think we are mostly on the same page around point one, which is that not drinking this weekend is the better choice. We have a slight difference of opinion around that I can start a time in the future. There's a part of you that believes that to be true. It may or may not be true, but to me, I've heard that too many times from people in your situation that I just wouldn't bet any money on it, right? There's key things that I want you to experience between now and when you get on the plane to go home. And you drinking this weekend means I don't think we're going to get where we need to get.
For real?
For real.
Okay.
For real, for real.
Okay.
Let's come to the self-belief, the belief that you can do this. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being how it sounds like you felt on Monday, which was, I know I can do 3 days. And so like 100% confidence, you got this. And 0 being absolutely no fucking chance on earth that I'm going to be able to do this. Whereabouts are you right now?
Right now, in this moment, a 2 is pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does a 2 feel like in your body?
Panic.
Yeah. Like just, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a big fan of physical metaphor because I think sometimes we talk and talk and talk and talk, and that talking doesn't necessarily change anything. We need to have experiences of things. So I'd like my team to bring in my prop we're prepared for. What if you could karate chop that in half by the time you leave here?
Sure. No. But yeah, that would be cool, actually.
Yeah. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident do you feel that you could put your hand through that in the next 15 minutes?
0.
And if you did, what would that mean for this weekend?
There's other possibilities.
Yeah. If you were to get through this weekend, when right now it's a 2 out of 10 that you can do it, and then you were to get through next week, you would go home with a different reference point.
Fair enough.
Right? And I'm not saying that this or you stopping drinking is all that we need to do. I understand that the drinking is a form of self-medication of feelings and emotions that you want to not feel. And we still need to do some work with that. And that's why I want to build momentum before you go back, because I've got specific thoughts of what we, and of course I come into every session open to whatever's happening in the room. So it's not like there's a pre-written plan, but there are specific things which I think are important to happen and things for you to learn, which will then equip you when you go home to maintain the momentum that we're starting here. What really matters is what this piece of wood represents. If there was a phrase which is in your mind, which is representative of how you feel about not drinking this weekend and stopping drinking, what would that phrase be? Is it something like, I can't do it, I don't have what it takes, it's impossible? Like, what would be that phrase?
Do you think I could take a break?
Yeah? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I know I can't. I can't is probably the phrase.
Yeah. I can't, or I can't do it. We've got your stuff, just so you know.
It's fine.
So we're going to get Nicole to write on the piece of wood. Was it I can't or I can't do it? It's just I can't, I think was it, wasn't it?
I just can't, yeah.
So I'm going to lean on there. You write I can't on there. Oliver will appreciate the grammar. Oliver wouldn't like it if the grammar was wrong.
It's very true.
All right, you can have that piece. I'm going to bring these.
Oh my God, I think I'm going to throw up.
What this represents is a belief. And the belief is that you don't have what it takes and you can't do it. That's held you back. Not just in terms of you stopping drinking, but that's held you back in all kinds of ways. It's a narrative, it's a story, right? And if you want to change the narrative, you don't just think your way from that narrative, you have a felt experience of it. There's a place in you that you are so much stronger than you even give yourself credit for. That whether you drink or not this weekend is not about whether you can do it. It's about having the leverage on yourself and the belief in yourself that you know that you can do it.
I'm really looking for the exit.
Yeah. And this is consensual. You can leave at any point you want to leave. But I don't think you want to leave.
I don't want to.
Right?
Okay. I can't.
That's what it says. Yeah. you still read. That's good.
I can't do it.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you a couple of things.
And only because I really don't want to not get it right.
And isn't that
Interesting.
an
Yes.
interesting metaphor, right? Because I was thinking as we were walking down here, I think the reason why you didn't want to not drink this weekend was then if you didn't do it, if you said you were going to do it and didn't do it, then that'd be, well, I can't, that whole thing's failed, I can't do it. So it was easier to go, well, I'm just going to drink this weekend, because then it takes the pressure off, right? But ultimately, this is the moment. And that pattern means you're never going to do things that feel scary or feel hard, because you're going to protect yourself from that feeling of failure. But the ultimate failure is to not do it in the first place. It's like you reject yourself before you give anyone else or anything else the chance. You've already decided you failed by not trying. Right?
Mm-hmm. Ow.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Hurt.
Just a little bit. It actually hurts less when you go through it. Okay. So.
I did it.
Yeah. Well, you had a first go.
Well, I mean, yeah. I
Yeah.
did that.
Good.
That's enough, thanks. Oh, that hurts.
What are you feeling right now?
I don't like pain.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't like inflicting pain.
I
And
don't like it.
I also
I'm very
think.
anti violence. I know this is not violence,
Yeah.
but I mean, it feels violent on
Yeah.
my hand.
Well, in a way, sometimes what it takes to really create change is to bring that place inside of us, which is the Rottweiler, or is the tiger, or is the place which is like, I'm going to fight for what I want. And for you to make the changes that you need to make, you have to fight. You have to be violent, but you have to have that life force and that power inside of you. What's the animal?
What's the animal?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the unobvious. I'm going to go with the rhino.
Yeah. Well, rhinos are pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, a rhino would just charge
But they're
through
also
this
very
and that wall.
stubborn.
Well, you use your stubbornness for this.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, you're going to see it here, and you're going to fully commit. And remember that the power comes from your shoulder. It's not just your hand doing that. There's a power. So show me the movement of your shoulder. That's it. So then pull that arm back as you come forward. That's it. That's it. Do it again. That's it. Okay. Full commitment. Hey! What does that mean?
That I know the difference between my full commitment and my not.
So how was that different to the previous attempts?
I honestly, I did it for my twins.
Right. You know, the worst thing you can imagine happened to you, but you now have to live for them. And that doesn't just mean surviving. It means living fully. It means being all of you, all that you can be. And you've got to reclaim that place in you that can fight.
Fuck. That shit hurts. No.
You got to choose life. Really choose it. Not a life where you just numb yourself out and you just try and survive. when we were sat there a little bit earlier, I said to you on a scale of 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, how confident you were you could not drink this weekend, and you were a 20. What are you now? Given that you just did this that was a 0.
6.
What needs to happen for that 6 to go to a 10?
You'll have to walk next to me the whole weekend.
Well,
Because right now, sure, but then...
well, I think what you mean is we need to change your plans for the weekend. So I think we should go back inside and we should figure that out. But I feel like you should carry that.
Careful. I don't want you to convince me. I want to convince myself.
So how are you going to... I want you just to repeat what you just said. You want to convince yourself. I know I slightly...
No, I
changed
do.
it. Yeah. So
I know.
So how are you going to convince yourself?
I think I might have already, but I'm not ready to admit it.
So let me just take a temperature check. So you were a 6. You've definitely moved above a 6. Where are you now?
9.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Nicole and I discuss how she might change her plans for the weekend. And she ultimately decides not to go out with friends and instead spend the weekend with a close friend who doesn't drink. Are we still at 9?
I'm not happy.
It is noted. It is on film that you are unhappy. And you hold me personally responsible, and that's also on film, and that's okay. Say the words.
Fine, I'll do it.
Say it again.
I'll do it. Till Monday. Are we at a win session?
We can do Monday. Okay, how does that feel?
Fuck. It feels really good, but I'm like, I don't know how you just fucking did that.
Well, we did it.
I know.
We did it together.
I want to blame you.
Okay, you can blame me, that's fine.
I don't know how that just happened. Because I was convinced that that was not going to happen.
I know.
Okay.
And this is about until Monday, but it's also about what till Monday represents for the future.
Yeah. I let me just think it's till Monday because
Yeah, that's fine.
It's
That's
easier.
fine. No, but that's fine. That's okay with me.
I realized where this is going.
Okay. Any final questions for today?
Fuck no. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm in awe of how Nicole showed up today. You know, when we live with the weight of trauma, it can make us feel like we don't have what it takes. And the longer we carry that burden, the more we become identified with the weakness that we feel. My message to Nicole today, and my message to you, is we do have what it takes. We just have to find the pathway to reclaim our true strength and power. And today, Nicole made a new choice, not in spite of the immense pain she's felt, but because that is how she honors the children that she lost.
Hey, Friday. Today is day 5, no drinking, and isn't it beautiful here? It's beautiful. This is crazy to think, like, every time I think like I'm not, like, never gonna drink again, I'm just like, what the fuck? But what we are doing is one day at a time, and let's see how it goes. I think I've been walking 3 weeks now in London. This is the first time where I actually feel like, oh my God, that walk, I feel so good. Oh my God, I might even like exercise. Don't tell anyone though. I feel good. Laters. I'm just so grateful for this experience and for having had the strength and courage to do it, because everything's just falling into place. I haven't felt happiness like true happiness in a long time. So yes, thank you.
You look more relaxed, but that may not be the truth. I don't know. But I've been thinking about you quite a lot since Thursday and wondering how you've been doing. You fit your body. I mean, from where I'm sat,
great.
you feel so much lighter.
Yeah. So, there's no withdrawals.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's all gone, done. Oh, by the way, it's not called sober or anything like that. It's called freedoming.
Okay.
So I'm on
Okay.
day.
Thank you for that clarification.
I'm on day 8 of freedoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about freedoming?
It's what I want. So I thought, let me use it for the hardest part of the whole thing.
If we had more time, I would literally get the guys to play you back the tape from Thursday, because I wish you could know, maybe you know in your body, but how different you feel to me right now.
Well, I have to say that one moment is everything, all the hard work I've done up until that point. That was the moment where everything just went boom. That's it. Everything just became clear. Like, I feel like I'm back. And it was that one moment of smashing that board.
What did it mean to you?
So it was the first time where the twins and me were a powerhouse and not a broken shell. So the fact that I can see it, I saw it in a different light, and it felt really good. And the fact that I even hit the board in the first place was huge. But it was that moment where I just felt it was literally that internal power. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, there it is.
So it's like a part of you was lost and you refound it, you reclaimed it. When we spoke on Thursday, the commitment was to get through till Monday. And now you're counting it as day 8 of freedoming being here. It sounds like you have plans to go further. I
don't want to say it.
Because then it makes it real?
No, it's just like I'm not 100% sure I can do it. I'm like 95% sure.
Can we shape it together?
Yeah.
Well, walk me through what you've got so far.
So the plan is, firstly, to speak to Dad before I leave.
Good idea.
To let him know that I have committed to not drinking for 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And that I need him to help me with that. So that that call will be made once my 95 is at 100. Yeah.
It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the difference between the 95 and the 100 is some stuff that you still need to figure out how to do. You do have a delicate balance right now between what your dad needs, what you need, what your mum needs, what Rogan needs, and who you need to be to really be who Rogan needs you to be. Right? Like, all of those things are they're tricky dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, and as we continue to do some work together, in a way we can try and navigate that a little bit together as well. Like, we don't have to get all this resolved right now. But I think it is worth just speaking to the fact that is tricky. And It's not going to be as hard as the last few years have been. But in a way, because the last few years was as hard as it was, you just numbed out, which meant you didn't have to feel anything. Whereas the next few years is going to be hard in a different way, but you're not going to numb out, which means you're actually going to feel it. And so reminding yourself how strong you are is important. I'm really surprised, I shouldn't be, but I am, how much you figured out since I saw you last time.
I had started like working on stuff, and then it's late at night. I'm like, oh, I need my phone, and I just start going. It's like the intuition is coming back. Also, I've taken the pressure off, because I'm like all or nothing. Well, now it's like, no, it's not all or nothing. It's these things, and I don't have to do it 100 million % correct.
You could fail the first 3 times.
Yeah.
The belief that you can do this is like the top of the table. And what you've been doing over these past weeks is gathering legs for that belief that gives you that sense of strength to not just hope that you can do this, but to know that you can do this. And not because it's going to be easy, because it isn't going to be easy. But what is the alternative? The alternative is to go back to where you were before, which is numb and shut down and unhappy and suffering in yourself, and passing on a cycle of trauma to the person you love most in the world, which is your son. And the work that you have been doing here this week and that you will continue to do is breaking that cycle. And you got a big job ahead of you. And you can do it, but it's a big job. This experience, I think, has helped you rediscover how strong you are and your capacity, and that you're not broken, that you went through something incredibly painful, and there's a place inside of you that, however painful, however completely annihilating an experience can feel, there is a place in you which is not broken by that. That when life is in its most difficult and its most painful, sometimes all you can do is take a breath and keep stepping forwards.
It's definitely one of those, everything's changed and nothing's changed. Because nothing has changed on the outside, but everything has changed. And that's like, people always said that to me, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll keep going till I get there. Well, I got there, so yeah, it's awesome.
I feel such a deep sense of privilege to have been a part of Nicole's story and to witness her discovering her true strength. Because life can be so hard, many of us can become beaten down to the point that we just accept that this is how life is. The idea of facing our inner demons feels like an impossible task. And yet, as Nicole has shown us all, we are so much stronger than we realize. And when we live from that place of strength, our life, it transforms. We realize that the true joy of life is not a life without struggle, but a life where we change how we relate to that struggle. And it's in the meeting of life's challenges that we discover our true strength.
Like a fireball, flying through the wind, there's nothing holding you back. No way to fall, you keep moving on, like there's always a way to win. Like a
So how am I getting on now? Well, it's unbelievable. Like seriously, I have peace and love and laughter and happiness in my life now. Me and Rogan are like so close, like we loving life together. It's amazing. I can't tell you how much gratitude I have towards myself for doing this hard work, and the gratitude that I have towards Alex. If it didn't work, then I don't know if I'd still be here. So he's literally given me my life back. Like I cry now, but I cry out of gratitude. I'm crying out of like just the understanding of how difficult it was to go through the experience I went through and come out on the other side. It's just, yeah, it's awesome.